I'm Stephanie Jaworski of JoyBaking.com. Today we're going to make a dried fruit and nut loaf, and this is what it looks like. This is a delicious cake, and as you can see, it's got lots of different dried fruits and nuts, and what's great too is it stores really well. So the first thing you need to do is to preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 150 degrees Celsius. And then you will need a loaf pan. And I'm just going to butter the inside. So what I do is I just melt a little bit of butter and then just use a pastry brush to brush inside. You could use one of those non-stick vegetable sprays as well. Either way, make sure you get into the corners. We don't want that cake sticking. And then what I like to do, to make doubly sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of our pan, is I like to take just a little piece of parchment paper and put it right in there. Okay. So, as with all fruit cakes, it's the prep that takes all the time. The actual making of the batter of the cake is quite easy, but as you can see, we've got quite a selection here. So, the basic thing is you need 3 cups, 300 grams of chopped nuts, and you need 3 cups, 400 grams of dried fruits. I kind of like to leave that up to you which ones you want to use. You could use, so for the nuts, you could use just one type, or my preference is to use a few. And good choices are, what I have here is I have some chopped walnuts, I have some chopped pecans, and some chopped almonds. You could use that, or just 1 or 2. Also, hazelnuts would be very good, or even I think pistachios would be nice. So as you can just see, I just chopped them up. Takes a little time, so I did that ahead. And the almonds. And then we have lots of dried fruits. Again, 3 cups, 400 grams of dried fruits. So, there's just so many to choose from. I have some golden raisins here. You could use the dark Thompson raisins as well. And I have some, here, I've got some currants. And then dried cranberries I have, and some dried cherries. If your dried cherries, which mine were pretty big, I did cut them up. And then I have, for color, well, for flavor, but also for color, I have the dried apricots, kind of that bright, nice orange, looks good. The other choice is mango, that's also good. And then I have, I have figs, and if you use figs, you can see there's this little stem on the end. Always cut that off and then coarsely chop them like I've done here. Other choices, prunes would be very good, dates. So, just go for it. The more variety you have, the more it looks nicer, and plus the taste. I mean, with all these dried fruits and nuts. And also, if you like, you could use some candied, the mixed peel, or, like some candied lemon peel or orange peel is very nice here. So I got that in there. So you will also need 3/4 cup, 160 grams of firmly packed light brown sugar. Put that in there. And then we need something to bind everything together. So 3/4 cup, 95 grams of all-purpose flour. You may know that as plain flour. To that, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon, 1 gram of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon, 1 gram of baking soda, and then some salt, 1/4 teaspoon, 1 gram of salt. I'm just going to whisk that. And then put that in there. I'm just going to use my hands. You want to mix all this together. Coat all the fruit. And then sometimes your dried fruits, like the raisins and that, can kind of stick together. So this is a good time. With the flour, you can separate them. And then I'm going to keep doing that. But while that's doing, I'm going to beat my eggs. So if you have a stand mixer like I have here, use your whisk attachment. You could use a hand mixer for this. You will need 3 large eggs at room temperature. That would be 150 grams out of the shell. And then 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of pure vanilla extract. I'm going to beat these on medium-high speed until they get really thick and very light in color. And that's going to take probably 3 minutes, depending on your mixer. Could take a little longer. So this is what you're looking for. Isn't it gorgeous? Very thick, light color. It's amazing what can happen to eggs just beating them like that. I'm going to now add all of my fruit and nuts. And then I'm going to switch over. Now you could just use your spatula and mix that together, but if you have a big stand mixer like I have here, why not use it? I'm switching over to the paddle attachment, and I'm just going to beat till everything's all mixed together, just on low speed. That's done. So you can see all the work is in the prep. Once you do that, to put this all together, it's no time at all. Quick mix. Now, like some fruit cakes, this does not have any alcohol. If you do want a fruit cake that you brush with alcohol, you can go to the joybaking.com website, and there is a fruit cake. The more, I guess you would say, traditional. But this, you know, I make this all year because it's just so good. I'm going to be full up here. As you can see, it's all fruit and nuts. This won't rise very much in the oven, so you don't have to worry about your cake pan being full. So just press down, even it out. For this, it's obviously going to take a little while to bake. Everyone's oven is a little different. I find at least 70 minutes, could be, 80, 85, depending on your oven. It will rise a little. It's going to turn a beautiful golden brown. And when it's done, it'll just start to be pulling away from the sides of the pan. And you could take a toothpick and insert it into the center. It will come out clean. If you find your cake is over browning and it's not done yet, then just cover it with some foil. So like I said, probably at least 70 minutes. Always check a little before that because you never know, but 70 to 80, 85 minutes. And what I like to do about halfway through baking time is just rotate your pan front to back to get even baking. So our dried fruit and nut loaf is done. As you can see, a beautiful golden brown. Toothpick inserted into the center will come out clean. Now you want to put it on a wire rack, and then we're going to cool it completely in the pan. Now that'll take probably at least an hour, maybe 2. And then when you remove it from the pan, take either an offset spatula or a knife and then go around to make sure it's not sticking before you take it out of the pan. And then, while you could eat this the same day you make it, it tends to crumble. And I don't think the flavor is quite as good. So what I like to do is wrap it in plastic wrap and foil, or put it in an airtight container at least for, say, 2-3 days. And that way everything will kind of come together and the flavors will be better. And then when you cut it, I like to use a serrated knife. The great thing about this cake, you can store it like probably 2-3 weeks at room temperature, or in the refrigerator it'll last several months, which is great for a fruit cake. I know people are going to ask, can you brush it with alcohol? Yes, you could. You can do that, and that will even preserve it even longer if you want to do that. But to me, this is more like a snacking cake. You have it all year round, so and you serve it to the kids, take it on picnics, so I'm not going to use the alcohol. And we will try some. A very flavorful cake. I let this sit a couple days, so I find it softens, and the flavors start to blend. I can taste, a little crunch of the nuts, and then all the flavors of those dried fruits. It's, a wonderful year-round fruit cake. So try it. And until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of JoyBaking.com.